Hey everybody, Josh from CollectionDX.com here with a review of the Future X Gokin Grandizer and Double Spacer. As you know, these are high-end die-cast reimaginings of classic super robot designs done by the late, great Professor Taku Sato, who has since shed his earthly mortal coil and is now designing robots from the heavens, perhaps? No, these are from a sketchbook, so they're interpreted the best that they can as they are pre-toy designs. So, as with all future X Gokins, it's incredibly die-cast, incredibly detailed, incredibly articulated, but not without its flaws. So it all depends on whether or not you're okay with the flaws of the toy. So let's run through the articulation a little bit, and I can show you what is going on here. Let's start with the head. First thing I want to point out is the horns, is that they're not solid pieces. They're two pieces on ball joints, and as such, they are sort of fiddly. So pretty much every time you position them, they will fall out of position at some point. Also, they detach really easily. And there's not really a lot of, I don't know why you would want to do this. I don't quite understand it, but it just serves to pain in the ass. But it does have a good range of motion. The neck is a little tight at first, but obviously you can do the full tilt for when he has a spacer. So it has a good set of joint work in there. Moving down to the chest area, he's got a swappable chest plate. He has this translucent plate here. This has a tighter fit than the die-cast metal one, which goes right over it. And with the die-cast metal one on, this joint doesn't have a lot of strength to it, so it won't stay open on its own. But without it, these do open up a little bit to reveal sort of a generator in the chest there, which is kind of cool. Closes up rather nicely. And let's put the metal one back on. There you go, snaps back on. Also, the shoulder Harkins are removable, and they are die-cast metal. And while we're there, let's take a good look at these shoulders. So the shoulders have a really nice range of motion to swing out, up, rotate, and then this, you can see that is a separate, there are actually two separate pieces here that really give you a lot to work with for some extreme posing. So very nice and segmented joint there. The waist joint, it's a little lacking. I mean, you get the up, down, side to side, and the twist, but I mean, it's not a huge range of motion there, but not a big deal. The arms are nice. They have a swivel bicep and then double joint. And I like how they solved the problem with the fins here, in that they really just made the two that go over the elbow joint shorter. So you can get a good bend without worrying about bending the fins. But in order to do the screw crusher punch, they've executed what Bandai tried to do, but just more gracefully, and that each of these go over, like so. And they also will rotate, so if you want to just position them the best way you can rotate them. They do not launch, they are not removable. So, there's that. Fists, there are actually three separate kinds of fists, and these actually are very easy to replace. They just pop out. You have the closed fist, you have the open hand, which they have a nice little hinge on the wrist, and then you've got the holding hands, which also I guess could be a thumbs up. For the hips, you have a extending joint there, and you have two movable panels here, and you can see a good range of motion forward and back, very tight. Sounds a little creaky. Knees, got a nice range of motion there, and this panel also is movable. Feet, you have ankle, of course. It's a rocker, and you have a good toe motion here. So you can do a lot with the feet. For the Harkins, you have a lot of options, and I hope they're called Harkins. I'm not sure. I always pronounce it wrong. You can do a bunch of different things with it. So, first thing, obviously, you have these 3 connector bars, and you have the 3 tips. So you can have the double Harkins, so you can grab it beforehand with 2 tips. Then you can also make each one a single Harkin, like so. These tips are metal, which is nice. But you can even make the double one by using this connector piece. Build your own and get something like that, which is very cool. As you can see, him pose with his Harkins is pretty rad. He's very cool. He's a little difficult to balance. You really got to be sort of particular about how you pose him, and obviously always pay attention to the horns, but he is just really great looking. So also, Grandizer comes with his double spazer, which we'll talk about next. Throughout the course of Grandizer's series, he has a series of spazers, which are things to attach to kind of power up or enable him to do different things. Drill spazer, marine spazer, and just the plain spazer. So in this case, we have the the Dizer double spacer, and it's a cool little ship that docks onto the will dock onto the back. Die-cast metal, doesn't do a whole lot in this mode, but it's cool. Now you can see that there's, when you're preparing to get him ready, that there's a few joints here that you can prepare. Focus. There we go. So first thing we do is we tilt these up and over. And then you notice we have this action, which is cool, but check it out. That side is loose and a pain. Not quite sure how I'm going to fix that. Next thing you do is pull the cockpit out and up, like so, and then finally pull this little doohickey back. And here is where the nightmare begins. Not a nightmare, just a pain in the ass. Okay, to attach the spazer to the back, there you saw the peg on the double spazer, but you also see there's a little square right there. That's actually a spring-loaded square. So what Future did was they give you a little piece of paper here. It says, see that little thing in the arrow there? They give you a little clear spacer, like so. And the spacer is meant to be, hey, don't scratch up your Grandizer when you connect him, which is fine and dandy. However, what the spacer does is it keeps you from being able to push it all the way in, at least on my model. So when you use the spacer, you have rapidly ejecting parts. See, it just doesn't want to click in, and it's very difficult to stay in. So essentially, I just said, to hell with it, it's a toy. Oh, it's going to fall over. It's going to get scratched. I love watching. I kind of like doing that, and because I know the people watching this are going to have a heart attack when they see something like this fall over. But rest assured that it's on a padded sort of surface. You don't have to worry too much about it. As I was doing, taking the thing, plugging it in, trying to get it to stay, it is difficult. Pieces are a little more loose than I would like, and the connection is not great. Really? So you can see why this is a bit of an issue of contention with me. There we go. Hear that click? That's what you want. And then the spazer is in. However, we still have the loose wing, which makes it incredibly, like, you can remedy that by making sure that these are bent, these ships at the end are bent outwards. What a pain. Not really well designed in that respect. However, once you do have him squared away, he looks pretty freaking awesome, don't you think? He better for $400 and something. I think he's great. I think he's a really fun piece. He's going to look good on the shelf. Not something you're going to take down and play with often because you're going to be worried about scratching it. Obviously has a couple of small issues, but pretty cool. This is the Future X Gokin Grandizer, brought to you by... Actually, I got this from Angles.com. They're cool chaps. They like us. Josh from CollectionDX. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, like, forward, friend, all that stuff. We love it. It helps us out. Thanks, guys. See ya.